All right, and we are good to go. Hey, y'all, how's it going? I'm Joy, that is Steve, and we are back with the NFL predictions versus for week 16. Last week I finished one above 500, so it's not as ideal as I would have
Yeah,
liked, but it was definitely
true.
a very strange week, especially Saturday.
Yeah, it was a bizarre
Yeah,
week 15 for all of us.
one could say that, but bizarreness aside, how'd you fare through the
Yeah.
mayhem?
Bes- Besides the besides the some of the shocking results there in most games there, I managed to finish 12-4, surprisingly.
Wow, that is awesome actually. I believe John wanted to congratulate you because you won the
Yeah.
week and you also did something else that was pretty impressive,
Hmm.
based on how the standings are going.
Hmm.
So here we have a look at them. We have SDS who's still in first with a six-game lead now after his calls from last week. We have him at 144, 78 and 2. Me in second with 138, 84 and 2. John is on the third star with 136, 86 and 2. Steve has jumped Buff and is now 133, 89 and 2 in a solid fourth place to Buff's 132, 90 and 2. And then Spite got an extra loss in the column thanks to Mr. Mayfield, who did not read my letter apparently. And now we have a 10 and 4 record as spite. It would be 10 and 5, but I don't know if Buff went
Yeah.
with the Rams out of spite or because he actually
Hmm.
thought they would. So
Yeah.
I'm just counting my own spite against myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys missed my description, sometimes I will call what my description is called a Seymour squad,
Yeah.
and some people will actually read those. Steve read them,
Hmm.
John read them,
Hmm.
a couple of others have read them, but
Yeah.
down there, I wrote a letter to Baker Mayfield,
Yeah.
asking him to basically prove me right. Let me go and find it real quick so I can read that out.
Okay.
Um, just since I brought it up, I figured I may as well.
Hmm.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Zach Wilson. How are you? Okay,
Hmm.
sorry.
There you
There
go.
was a random photo in my DMs. Okay.
I don't know.
So I said, Dear Mr. Mayfield, I am placing my trust in you this week for a very important primetime game. In doing so, I have also defended you against those who, in my opinion, are misplacing the credit for last week's victory over the Raiders. I implore you, please don't make me add you to my personal frick you list alongside the likes of DeBears, Rogers, Quintricia, and the Mitch. I truly believe that you don't deserve that. Prove me right. Sincerely, a potential, albeit leery, fan. And, yeah, that was misplaced apparently,
Yeah.
because they lost 24 to 12. So it
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I guess Baker Mayfield made your naughty list there this
you
point.
know, in more ways than one, you could say that, sure. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still not like completely anti the Baker,
Hmm.
but also that was a really important like split game and spike game.
Hmm.
Now, in a way, he is helping because the more the Rams lose, the more the Lions win. So
Hmm.
I'm not like mad at him, but
Yeah.
I also really wanted Aaron Rodgers to lose, especially after what he said post games.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll just have to wait till week 18 before he gets his comeuppance.
Yeah. True.
But all of that being said, let's move on to the rest of our week 15 breakdown with our of the week segment. Starting off with, what would you like to start with, actually? I'll let you go ahead and choose.
Like regret there.
Regret. Okay.
Okay. We'll start with that there. Obviously, with me, I'm gonna say the Baltimore Ravens for letting me down against the Cleveland Browns there on Saturday afternoon there.
Yeah, Baltimore letting people down is always a regret. I really don't know what's up with them this year. You can say Lamar Jackson's injury, but to be fair, they've been disappointing even with Lamar Jackson. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what's up with them. But to only put up three
Mhm.
is really disappointing.
Yeah.
My regret is fairly easy. It's the Broncos game because I penned in, and this is one of the few times that I've ever actually done this. I
Yeah.
penned in the Broncos,
True.
and then I thought about it, and I'm like, I really trust Colt McCoy more than I do
Yeah.
whoever the
And
backup for
then he
Denver
got
is.
injured.
Right, and then he got injured in the one game that I was choosing to trust him in.
Hmm.
And so my regret was changing my mind, basically,
Hmm.
because I had the Broncos winning
True.
at home. And then I changed my mind to say Arizona, and
Hmm.
Colt McCoy got injured. I don't know who the backup was on that one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
Right.
just, it was a mess all around.
Yeah. True.
So then, moving on, let's start with some positivity then. What was your game of the week? The one game that kind of took your breath away?
Yeah. Obviously, I gotta go Saturday afternoon with this one as well. It's obviously the Vikings coming back from a 33 point deficit in the first half there, and but by the time that it was halftime, I just shut it off there and went out shopping there. By the time I got back there, it was late in the fourth quarter, and the Vikings were coming back and tying the game there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the cool thing about not only the Vikings, but about this league is like you could never leave. When you're invested in a game, you can't just shut it off and walk away because it will
Yeah,
always change on you.
true.
Now, of course, if you have things to do, then you go do them. But like, this is one of those like you blink and you miss it kind of leagues,
Hmm.
and
True.
especially this season, there's been so many great close matchups that came down to a final drive or some kind of overtime shenanigans or
Yeah.
something like that. And I would agree with you on the
Hmm.
Vikings and their comeback because they just keep finding a way to win, and
Yeah.
it's really fun to watch. Even as
True.
a Lions fan, because I'm kind of used to that a little bit because they always find ways of either winning or just giving the game away. So finding
Hmm.
a way to make things happen is kind of respectable.
Okay.
Speaking of, since you went ahead and took the Vikings game on that one, I will
Hmm.
take the Lions game for my game of the week.
Hmm.
I don't really know what Salah's problems were with timeouts.
Hmm.
I know that one at the end of the game that they actually gave the Jets.
Hmm.
He tried to call timeout as he was being tackled,
Yeah.
which I didn't think was something you could do. I thought that the play had to be over before you could call a timeout.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit funny to me at the end of the game, but the Lions still held on to win and made a really tough kick have to be happened. So I'm pleased with that game in
Hmm.
general. I thought it was really hard fought. It was scrappy. It wasn't clean, but it was a really
Yeah.
fun game to watch.
True.
Now for me, my shock of the week, I'm gonna probably let you have the obvious one here. Because
Okay.
yeah, that is everybody was like, "What the heck are you doing?" And
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go ahead and take Jacksonville for my shock of the week because
Hmm.
that kind of comeback.
Hmm.
Now I would say that they've just found a way to win,
Yeah.
considering I just did with Minnesota, but it's just this is one of those things where you don't really believe it's happening.
Yeah.
With Minnesota, I kind of bought into it because it's Matt Ryan once again giving up a huge lead and giving the game away. But
Hmm.
for Dallas to just let them walk all over them
Yeah.
in that second half, I don't know what happened. I really don't.
Don't get it. Hmm.
So that's my shock. You want to go ahead and take the helm on this one, and
Yeah. Obviously, my shocker of the week was the Patriots. They're losing at the last second to the Raiders there. But when they made the laterals, I was like, "What's going on?" And then I was screaming at the TV there, "Just take the knee and go for overtime." But no, he lateral and got picked off and ended up losing the game.
then Mac Jones got promptly ran over. That
Yeah.
was such a fun run back to watch. But I'm all for trying to win the game and doing the laterals and being tricky because like for me the game isn't over until you have triple zeros on the clock.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that part of it, but be smart with the ball. Like if you're
Yeah.
gonna do that kind of thing, be smart with it. Don't randomly lateral it backwards into thin air. because that is then how this kind of thing happens. Yeah, the fact that they were tied and we're gonna head
Hmm.
into overtime, and that's when
Hmm.
it happened, that
Yeah.
really doesn't butter any biscuits, does it?
No.
It was that was a mess.
Huge.
Uh, what do you even say to that? Like,
Hmm.
how do you come back from that?
Yeah.
And then not only that, but they left Mac Jones defenseless
Yeah.
by himself to be the only guy that could have saved that touchdown. And you never
Yeah.
want to do that with the QB. Like
Yeah.
he got ran over. It
Yeah.
could have been catastrophic, but
Yeah. And the Stanford band won't come on the field to help him.
nope, not a bit, not a bit. Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah. If you're over 40, you'll get the reference.
Yeah, I hope people out there do. And I have a few sports historians who might know what that was. I just had this really fun mental image, so I'm happy even if I don't know what it was. So I'm okay with that. We had a lot of overtime games. Actually, we had 3 overtime games
True.
in week 15. So that I don't think it's a record, but it's definitely feels like it.
Yeah.
But all right, that being said, we are gonna cruise right on into week 16 now. If you are ready.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Um, and also per the usual, my book and the layout do not match
Yeah.
because I was dumb and actually wrote all of these games down weeks ahead of time, completely forgetting that the NFL likes to flex things to better suit their own cause.
True.
So I'm just gonna have to go based on the layout here and just figure it out later.
True.
So first things up, we have Jacksonville and the Jets
Yeah. The
in New York.
True. Obviously, we as you discussed there, the Jags, their huge comeback against the Cowboys there
Yeah,
was amazing there.
yeah, it was. I mean, they proved that they can go out there and they can score points with the best of them, which makes me really concerned for this week because
Yeah.
they're not really facing the best of them right now.
Yeah. Right now they're uh, this week they're taking on the Jets team that coming off a huge loss to the Lions.
Yeah,
There.
it was a close loss, but it was definitely a huge setback for them and their wild card hopes.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah. But with me, I think I'm gonna ride the train of Trevor Lawrence there. Maybe if they continue to play real well, they might even sneak in the playoffs there.
I think that's possible that they might be able to sneak their way in. I don't know what their record's at right now, but
Yeah, yeah,
with
but they're playing in the weak division with
yeah,
I mean, Titans are struggling there,
hmm
and obviously the Colts and Texans aren't even a factor.
yeah, no, definitely not. Which is unfortunate for the Colts because I do like them as a team overall, but like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't the year. So it's kind of a two dog race, and with
Yeah,
Tennessee kind of limping their way to the
yeah,
end,
mm-hmm,
Jacksonville could play a spoiler for sure.
yeah, true.
But me personally, I actually am going to trust the home team on this one on
Whoa,
a bold upset pick,
okay.
just because it's in New York, and we all know what kind of weather is coming to play
Mm-hmm,
here recently for not only my own state but the East. So I'm hoping that some snow bowl action kind of happens, and that's going
mm-hmm,
to mean that Jacksonville's going to be out of their own element and be
mm-hmm.
a little more on the ropes. And plus, the Jets are
Mm-hmm.
scrappy.
Yeah,
Zach Wilson got a start
yeah,
again last week, and he played fairly well. Actually, he made a few mistakes here and there, especially towards the end of the game, obviously. But
mm-hmm,
he played decent, and I was personally really happy to see that.
yeah,
All right. Next up, speaking of being happy, this game is not one that makes me happy at all. We have
yeah,
the Falcons and the Ravens in a battle of
yeah.
the birds that Dino will not be participating in because
Yeah.
he is in
Ap-
bed. I'm not feeling my
Apologies to all
best.
fans.
Yeah, I'm not feeling my best, and I didn't, quite frankly, have time or drive
Yeah,
to make a video
yeah,
for him.
yeah.
It's been a rough week, so
True.
bear
Yeah,
with me.
Yeah, apologies to all of Dino's fans out there.
Yeah, but to be fair, if there was a game for him to miss, it's probably this one.
Yeah, just
Uh,
most teams
Ravens.
are struggling.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wouldn't want Dino to have to choose with the Ravens being involved.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, we we still don't know the status of Lamar Jackson. I think wouldn't surprise me if he ends up missing this game there, and he's starting Tyler Huntley this week there.
Again, yeah. Like I don't know. I think for me, I wouldn't be surprised if he does play, but at the time of making the pick uh yesterday, I think I made the pick. At the time of making the pick, he didn't practice. So I'm just going on the assumption that he does not play, even though knowing my luck, he will.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. But with me, there obviously I'm going to pick the Falcons there because I think the Ravens are in the injury mode right now.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, didn't Huntley have a concussion as well
True.
not too long
True.
ago? So we don't know if he's going to be 100% either. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a risk last week on the rookie in his
Mm-hmm.
first game, and it didn't really go that well. It was close.
Mm-hmm.
No, they only lost by 3, so it was a really
Yeah.
close game. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that in his second start he can kind of get a little more chemistry under him and get
True.
you know get some progress made. So I'm taking the Falcons
Yeah.
as well. It might be a bit of an
Mm-hmm.
upset, but I'm going for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we have the Lions and the Panthers.
Yeah. Obviously, the Lions are like the Jags there. They could sneak in the back door of a playoff spot there.
They could. Now they have
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no chance of winning the division, but
True.
they do have a very good chance of getting into the playoffs, especially with how this week's schedule is for the
Mm-hmm.
games and the teams who are in front of them.
Yeah.
But right now, their fate is in their own hands, and I think that's
Yeah.
exactly the way that they want it. They're that kind of team this year where they want to be in control of what happens to them,
True.
and if they win out, good on you.
Yeah. And obviously Carolina's a weak team there, so this is a good good game for them to continue their winning streak. And obviously my pick's going to be the Lions to beat the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement, and I believe in Detroit. I always have this season, but now I kind of feel a little more confident and comfortable in throwing my support behind them in the picks
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
Because I would feel so bad if I actually went with Carolina and they got completely blown out. So
Yeah. Sure.
I'm gonna buck from my usual system, and I'm taking Detroit. Not to win big, not to win handily, just to win.
Yeah.
Because
Just one.
anytime I say that something's gonna go one way, it ends up being the exact opposite. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I trust nothing.
Yeah.
Except for this game. This game
Mm-hmm.
I trust.
Yeah.
We have the Bills and the Bears. I
Yeah.
trust this game. If
Yeah.
there's anything I would actually try to put money on, it'd probably be this one. I don't
Yeah.
condone gambling, but
Obviously with
this
your
game,
hashtag frick the Bears.
oh, frick the Bears. Even when I'm not able
Yeah.
to speak it,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
So
saying.
obviously we'll both be taking Bills and Josh Allen to continue the momentum.
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
It's gonna
No more
be in
no more
Chicago,
discussion.
so the weather's gonna be a factor, but Buffalo's used to that.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they can contain Justin Fields and his running ability, then it
Mm-hmm.
should be an easy game for them. So
Sure.
I had to give it a little bit of discussion because the last time we said no words needed, we
Mm-hmm.
almost lost the pick. So I
Sure.
had to do my due diligence and actually go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have the Browns hosting New Orleans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What did that keep saying? No means no there.
Buff.
Buff there. Yeah.
Yeah, no means no.
Yeah. Yeah. To all of you get the reference there.
Yeah, it's I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And obviously the Saints there are still alive in that that crummy NFC South there.
I seen a post, speaking of the NFC South, that SDS might have some trouble with, or
Mm-hmm.
some anger at.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning said that he talked to Roger Goodell,
Mm-hmm.
and they might just go ahead and cancel the NFC South so
Mm-hmm.
that none of those teams make the playoffs, and
Yeah.
all of four teams of the NFC East do.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
just a thought.
Yeah.
Like
That would be
one
better there.
one division is actually good, the other has Tampa in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
True. Yeah.
just a thought.
Yeah. So with me, I think I'm going to go with the Saints there to beat the Browns there.
Okay. I actually agree with you on that one. Um, I wasn't sure if we were going to. I will tell you this though: the only reason that I did go with New Orleans on the road
Mm-hmm.
is well, one, I knew that it was going to be a split game, and I
Mm-hmm.
need those.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I did see that Miles Garrett was questionable,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and if he's not going to be 100% or even at the worst not able to play, that definitely impacts the defensive performance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just kind of hoping that that's the case and that New
Yeah.
Orleans can continue to make the
Yeah.
South interesting.
Yeah.
Because if all of the teams in the South actually come away with a win, except for Carolina, please no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then it'll be a really interesting
Yeah.
division.
Yeah. Apologies to Buff for stealing your catchphrase.
He's cool with it. Continue on with the jokes. He would approve.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say speaking of jokes, but I actually can't because this should be a good game. We have Seattle and Kansas City.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know what's happening to Seattle lately. They look like they could have been a strong contender for the wild card spot, but lately they've been struggling there. I
Yeah,
don't get it.
I'm not sure. One of the jokes is that Gino's finally starting to write back
Hmm.
because of his famous line about people wrote him off and he didn't write back.
Hmm.
Well, now it seems like he's kind of starting to.
Hmm.
I'm not sure though. They definitely did have a hot start and then just kind of fell off. I don't really know what happened, but
Yeah, I
as
don't get it.
someone who needs Seattle to lose a lot, uh, that I'm kind of happy. But then again, I'm not happy because I also, I'm a friend of John and I
Yeah.
want his team to do well. But I also kind of want them to lose so that the Lions can gain some ground.
Hmm.
So it's a weird spot to be in.
Hmm. So with me, there obviously the Chiefs clinched the division, but they still, I bet you, they still want to try to catch the Bills for the number one seed there. So my pick is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to beat Seattle.
I agree, but I will say that Kansas City nearly losing twice
Hmm.
in a row
Hmm. Hopefully, it's a wake up call for them.
to bad teams, mind you. They narrowly beat Denver
Hmm.
in week 14,
Hmm.
and then they had to go into overtime to beat Houston, and they only beat Houston in overtime because of David Mills' fumble.
Yeah,
So they really need to start pinning down those errors
yeah,
because we cannot have these horrible teams
yeah.
nearly beating you this often. Just a thought. But I'm
Yeah.
also taking Kansas City just to
Hmm.
make that perfectly clear. I would be concerned a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have the Giants, who unfortunately regained their balance and beat
Hmm.
Washington. I was very sad about that because,
Yeah.
obvious reasons. They will be going to Minnesota.
Yeah. Obviously, these two NFC teams they're coming off huge shocking wins there. Obviously, the Vikings come back from that 33-point deficit to beat the Colts in overtime,
Mm-hmm.
and as you discussed there, the Giants they're shockingly beating the Commanders there on Sunday
Yeah,
night.
it was the thing that shocked me about that was that the score was as far as it was because it was 20-12,
Hmm.
which is definitely not as close as I would have expected for these two
Yeah.
teams. But I guess good on them.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure exactly what happened to Washington, but
Hmm.
kudos to the Giants for I guess proving me wrong on the
Yeah.
fact that they would never be the same since losing
Yeah,
to Detroit, but
yeah,
now we have a chance for them to prove me right again
yeah,
when they lose to Minnesota, which is what I am predicting.
yeah. And I'll agree with you on that there. And to Viking fans, goal.
Skull. That was the wimpiest skull I ever could have said, but you know what? Skull.
Okay, that's understandable.
Yep. Next up, we have Cincinnati and New England, who, as we discussed earlier, made a horrible faux pas.
Yeah,
And
yeah, major
you can't,
football.
yeah, you can't make those kinds of mistakes against a team like Cincinnati.
Yeah,
So,
hmm, true. Yeah, and that's not going to get better for them on Saturday there when they take on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Mixon and all the Bengals there because they'll thrive on all Patriots mistakes there. And with me there, obviously, I'm going to take the Bengals to beat the Patriots there. So they beat two teams that had Tom Brady at quarterback.
back to back sort of Brady wins. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think Cincinnati should have this one fairly handily. The only problem is that it's in New England, and again, the
Yeah,
weather. But
true. But
coming from Ohio, Cincinnati shouldn't have too big of a problem with
true,
weather. So I
true.
agree. All right, next up we have an AFC South battle, which could potentially be an upset, but we shall see how it goes. We have the Texans and the Titans.
Yeah, but I don't know what's happened with the Titans. It's like they're struggling lately there. It's like they want to lose the division there for some reason there. I
Yeah,
don't know what's
I don't
happening to Derrick
know.
Henry.
I don't know. I don't know how many points he got
Yeah,
fantasy wise last week, but
true.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
his
on top
production
of
doesn't
that,
seem horrible, but
yeah, and on top of that, Tannehill injured his foot. I think there on
again with the
Sunday.
Millis show or Millis, wow.
Yeah,
Malik Willis. There we go.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I don't know. When Malik Willis was playing before, when he had to take over for Tannehill due to
mm,
injury, him and
yeah,
Henry did have a decent game together,
yeah,
so
true. Yeah,
maybe they'll
but
be fine.
then Tannehill somehow came back in the game there.
Yeah,
But
but we
I
don't know
bet you he's
how.
not at 100%.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how his injury is,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
might play a factor.
yeah. With me, there, the Texans coming off almost two huge upsets. First with the Cowboys, and then last week with the Chiefs. There,
Yeah, that's true.
well, yeah. But with me, I think it's going to be third time a charm there this time for the Texans, and I'm predicting an upset there. I think they'll beat the Titans.
That's a fair upset. I can honestly see that happening. I kind of debated it, but at the end of the day, I can't go against Henry, so I'm taking Tennessee because they're mainly at home. I think if it
Okay,
was on the road, I would feel even more torn, but I couldn't risk it.
okay. So it's a second split for us.
Yeah, that's a fair one though. I'm with you on that for sure.
Mhm.
All right, next we have Heineke and the Commanders going to Purdy and the 49ers.
Yeah. So this could be a little bit of a game of the week there. Obviously, Commanders they're coming off a huge loss to the Giants there. That could put a tiny bit of a dent in their playoff chase there.
I will also say that their loss against New York is marred with controversy
Mm-hmm.
because that should have been pass interference in the end zone, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't call it.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
Yeah.
would that have completely changed the score of the game? No, absolutely not, because they still would have needed a 2 point conversion. But the fact that the refs continuously do ref things, as a fan of Washington and
Mm-hmm.
well, more specifically a fan
Yeah.
of Heineke, I would really like them to
Yeah.
actually do well.
Yeah.
And having the refs kind of
Yeah.
change the game a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
consistently
True.
did kind of upset me, especially because it made me get my pick wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I said the Giants would never be the same, and here you are helping them. Like, no, stop
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Yeah. But with me, I think it's going to be a second straight loss for them because they have to go in San Francisco, take on Brock Purdy and McCaffrey, Kittle, and all of them. So my pick's the Niners to beat the Commanders.
I agree. And also, that's what I was talking about with the Lions' playoffs hopes, is that they need Seattle to lose and Washington to lose, because those are the two teams who are tied with them and kind of in front of them for the wild card chase. And so if this week works out the way that it should, Seattle and Washington both lose, the Lions win, and then we're kind of smooth sailing going forward. So
Mm-hmm.
as much as I like Heineke,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going against him in this week,
Mm-hmm.
which breaks my heart. It really does, but I have to do
Yeah,
it.
true. Yeah, yeah. On to the next game
Yep,
there.
here we go. This is going to be a good one. We have an NFC East battle
Mm-hmm.
with the Cowboys hosting the Eagles, who I believe are missing Jalen Hurts?
He's
Question
injured.
mark?
They said he's injured there, but there's lot of talk there. He's going to play on Sunday there, but question is, do you want injured Hurts in there or healthy Gardner Minshew there to take on the
Yeah,
Cowboys?
someone was saying that it's Minshew time, and I'm like, for what team? Because quite frankly, I forgot where he went. I didn't know what team he was on, which shows how much I actually like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think I would still trust Hurts at not 100
Mm-hmm.
over
Yeah,
Gardner Minshew at 100.
yeah,
But also you have to think about the playoffs and
yeah,
the future of the season with Hurts, and you don't
yeah,
want him to get even more hurt.
yeah.
So,
Should give him a week off the rest there. There is
but
it.
then again, I don't know if this is the week that you want to not have your star player out there,
Yeah, true.
because you're facing Dallas, who is primed to, you know,
Look for revenge here
yeah,
after that loss to the Jags there.
yeah, exactly. And they're at home now too, which is even
Mm-hmm.
worse.
Yeah, true.
And then next week, the Eagles are hosting New Orleans, which is arguably an easier time.
Yeah,
So I think that
yeah,
if you're going to sit him,
yeah.
you want to do it then.
Yeah, set them this week there, and then next week clinch home field by beating the Saints. There, that's what you should do.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. But I'm not the coach of the Eagles there.
Yeah, Sirianni or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But with me, I'm gonna take call it a minor upset. I'm gonna take the Cowboys to beat the Eagles at home.
Yeah, I actually am in agreement with you. I did that mainly because the Eagles had a hard enough time beating Chicago
Mm-hmm.
on the road.
Yeah.
And with that defense, you only put up 25, and you completely forgot that Miles Sanders existed. Thank you, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My fantasy team really appreciated those 2 points that he got me. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
But I think if you have a hard enough time with Chicago's defense, I don't know how you're going to handle Dallas's defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just basically playing it off of that. I don't trust Dallas from a coaching perspective.
Yeah.
I think Mike McCarthy is going to do Mike McCarthy things, and that's going to be stressful for everybody involved.
True.
But I'm still going with Dallas as a minor upset just because they're
Mm-hmm.
at home, and I'm not sure if Hurts is going to be good to go.
Yeah.
All right, now this game I'm tempted to save for last, but we have to abide by
Mm-hmm.
the the layout of the games. So unfortunately, we have to talk about this one now. We have the
Mm-hmm.
Raiders and the Steelers in a rematch of the Immaculate Reception game.
Yeah. 50 years ago today, this happened there. But by the time we were recording, we just learned that Franco Harris passed away there.
Yeah, I believe he passed last night. 72, I want to say, was his age,
Mm-hmm.
72,
Yeah.
75, one of those
Yeah.
two.
72.
And it was his play that
Mm-hmm.
uh, that went down in history
Yeah.
on the Immaculate Reception, and
Mm-hmm.
for it to happen right before the rematch game of that,
Yeah.
on the anniversary, it's kind of sad, but also in a weird, morbid way, kind of poetic. Because like
Yeah.
now the Steelers can redo it and win it for him in a way.
Yeah. Exactly
Um,
there.
which I actually am predicting that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Steelers at home.
Yeah.
Also, not only because of that added motivation, but
Hmm.
Mike Tomlin needs to not have a losing record. I mean, at least go
True.
500.
True.
Like
Yeah.
his legacy. I mean, his entire legacy is not at stake at this
Yeah.
one, but you want it to continue
Yeah.
that streak, and so
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that they can.
Yeah. True. I'm going to agree with you there. I mean, the Raiders got lucky last week against the Patriots there, but I think lightning won't strike twice this week. There, I think it's obviously Steelers going to win the game for Franco.
Yeah, I agree, and I hope that if the Mitch plays and is the starter, that he's not dumb,
Hmm.
which is I know a real stretch for him, but
Yeah.
I hope that he won't be dumb and pull a Patriots and actually give the game away. So
Yeah. True.
let's win this one for Harris.
Yeah.
Next up, Green Bay, Miami.
This is good early game to watch on Christmas Day after you get done unwrapping your presents there.
Yeah, because there's nothing better that I enjoy on a Christmas than Aaron Rodgers on my TV. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I want
True.
to see.
True. Yeah. Obviously, both quarterbacks are going to play their hearts out there. Aaron Rodgers and Tua there. Yeah, Tua coming off a huge loss though to the Bills there, and
It was a darn good
Aaron
game
Rodgers.
though.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers coming out to win the Rams as we discussed earlier with your letter to Mr. Mayfield.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna write a letter to the Dolphins on this one. It's not
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah,
It's not worth it.
yeah. But lately, the Dolphins have been struggling lately. There, it's like they're not trying there, but hopefully they'll pull out their tailspin there and get back in the playoffs. But with me this week, I think I'm going to go with Rodgers and the Packers to upset the Dolphins.
Well, okay then. I I'm not gonna do that. I'm trusting in T double at
Okay.
home, for sure.
Hmm.
Somewhere where it's not gonna be sweater weather for them.
Hmm.
They've had a hard time of it recently playing in the cold.
Yeah.
Not they went to California recently, but apparently it was still cold to them. But whatever. I'm trusting in Miami at home, and hopefully they can keep Green Bay where they belong, which is firmly in third place of the division.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a change, we need this for a change.
Okay.
Next up is a game that I really hope ends in a tie for both John and I's sake. We have the Broncos and the Rams.
Yeah. I think I was the only one last week to pick the Broncos to beat the Cardinals there.
I believe you were, yeah. I was going to join you on that, and then
Hmm.
I dumbed, and I didn't. I changed my mind for some
Yeah.
gosh darn reason that I still don't remember.
Yeah. Hmm. But this week, I don't think their magic will continue on Christmas Day there. I think Baker Mayfield will be a tougher challenge for the Broncos there, and I think they'll beat beat Denver there.
Yeah, I agree. Sadly, but you know what? I'm not going to completely give up on Baker here. Plus, I just think that Denver doesn't really have a whole lot, and I think, especially being on the road, they're going to have some trouble. So I'm taking the Rams, but I wouldn't be mad if the Rams lost, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, and then we have the Cardinals, who were kind of my bane last week,
Mm-hmm.
facing Tampa.
Okay. Obviously, that's a real great late game for you if you're up lately on Christmas Day there and watch there because obviously we don't know what Arizona Cardinals will see this week. Who will be at QB there?
I have absolutely no idea, but this is a really good game for Tampa after
Mm-hmm.
struggling most of the year. This is a good
Yeah,
one for them to have late.
yeah, to get back in the
Yeah,
division there.
yeah, they need an easy game late season to kind of help secure themselves a little bit more. So you know they got blessed by the football gods in this one, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm go ahead and take Tampa on that
Yeah,
over Arizona.
yeah. So I agree with you on that there, and I'm also I'm putting my faith in Brady there, but
Yeah.
only for this week there.
I would agree with that, and honestly, I think it'd be hilarious if they lost, but I'm not dumb. I'm not gonna go with Arizona
Yeah.
again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then finally, we made it.
The Monday nighter.
Yep, it is the Chargers and the Colts.
Yeah. Obviously, the Colts there. I don't know what shape they'll be in after their huge loss to the Vikings there.
I have no idea. I really don't. It's got to be demoralizing, when you have the game so well in hand, and then all of a sudden it's just not.
Yeah.
And not only
And
that, but they did lose Jonathan Taylor for the season, I believe. So
true. Yeah.
they're going to be without him again
Yeah.
for a while.
So, so obviously they got to break in a new running back there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the Chargers there are proving me wrong. They're not choke artists in December there.
They heard you and they just wanted to answer.
Yeah, because in the past there whenever ever they get momentum there, they end up uh, end up going down late in the season. So, but now it's getting better for them. I think, and I'm picking them to beat the Colts this week.
I am too. Even though it's in Indy, and Indy does definitely need a bounce back game, I am going with the Chargers 100% in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for Matt Ryan, it's just too many blown leads, you know?
Yeah.
And plus, I do like the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we have the other participants. We have SDS's picks. I'm going to try to get through these.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking the Jags and the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking the Lions, saying, please, for the love of sweet baby Jesus, beat Carolina. He's taking the Chiefs and the Browns. He agreed with you, I believe, on the Texans on an upset, saying that
Mm-hmm.
this is the game that he thinks they'll finally break through and win.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals, he's taken the Giants and said that the frauds from the north can't keep dancing through the raindrops forever. This is why umbrellas exist.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson being said umbrella. We shall see.
Yeah.
He went Bills, 49ers, and Eagles.
Yeah.
He took the Raiders, saying, sorry, Tomlin, you now have a losing record after 15 years. I
Mm-hmm.
hope not, but
Yeah.
we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Dolphins, and he took the Rams, saying that he knows that both John and I are hoping for a tie. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He took the Bucks, saying, can we please go one game without being handicapped by Todd and Byron? You
Mm-hmm.
have Todd Bowles as a coach? No, you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Then he took the Chargers, saying, congrats, Justin, on your first playoff berth.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have John. If I can click the button. There we go. Jags, Falcons, Lions, Bills, Saints. So he agrees with us on that one.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Vikings. So he agrees on that one.
Yeah.
He took the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Titans. He really wanted to go with the Texans, but the Titans could no, the Texans could lock pick one with
Mm-hmm.
a loss and a Bears W. That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
He took the 49ers, saying that the refs fudged the Commanders hard, making them take that L. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. Have to add a question mark on that one. And
Uh-huh.
then Cowboys, Raiders, Dolphins, Rams, Bucks, and Chargers to round that
Yeah.
out. I don't have Buffs picks yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So me
But
reading through all of them kind of
mm-hmm.
I'll do some post com on Buff's picks.
Yeah.
I told him I would just give him the rest of the night to give me the picks because I don't know what's going on with the family stuff and
Yeah.
being this close to the holidays and with work and all. So
Yeah.
I will add his picks in post, and then y'all can see those from there. But
Mm-hmm.
for now, that is what we got going on.
True.
Anything? Any final words?
Obviously, we gotta say happy holidays to all our picker pick make our picks on here. John, Buff, Alex, you, you, Dino, and and obviously your father there,
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Dino. Merry Christmas, Dad.
and also happy holidays to your friend Jonas as well, if he ever watches these.
I'll uh I'll tell him to. Just so
Okay.
he can get your well wishes. So yeah, Merry Christmas, Jonas and Sam, John,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Agron, sir, uh, Buff, pretty much everybody who's been a supporter of this series for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Happy holidays to all of you. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
being here during this season and during this year. Hopefully, 2023 will be even more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, not to put you on the spot here, but I believe
Mm-hmm.
that Steve has agreed to join us next year for our fantasy football league as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know much about fantasy league there, but I'll give it a shot there. But I probably going to say I'm going to end up in lock and dead last for it.
you know what though? It's actually not that hard to get into. This was my first year playing it as well, and I managed to sneak my way into the playoffs of the Sleeper League. And then the ESPN league that I'm in, that Bob hosted, I'm still in first for the skins division. But to be fair, that league is kind of a mess. Good job, Bob, for
Yeah.
how you set that up. Good job, good job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you here over in the first place for no gosh darn reason. I
Mm-hmm.
don't deserve to be in first. I really don't. I've made some horrible errors, but I kind of lucked my way into that one as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to next year when you join us all for the 8-person league.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. It's a lot of fun talking to people and
Mm-hmm.
giving crap to other people about their picks.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's like a sibling rivalry kind of deal a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So I think you're really gonna enjoy it. You're gonna have a lot of fun, and I want to thank you for joining me not only for this but for that in the future and for next year and just in general just
Mm-hmm.
being there. It's been really
Yeah.
fun. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we will catch you next week for week 17,
Mm-hmm.
formerly last week of the season, but now we have 2 more weeks to go in the
Mm-hmm.
regular season, and then we go straight into the playoffs. And
Yeah.
the standings are really spread out, and it's really anybody's game still.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
it's feasible that you can actually make a really good comeback here.
yeah.
So,
Here's hoping, but I highly doubt it there
oh, it's
because
possible.
all you guys are real tough to play against.
Well, we thank you for that, but so are you, to be fair. You know, you struggled early, got behind, but you made a heck of a comeback already.
Mm-hmm.
John and I were talking about that recently on call, and it's like, it's feasible that you could actually come back and catch SDS in this one. So,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Thank you all. See you next week.
Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. Yep. Catch you all next week, where hopefully I will not be sick, and my voice
Yeah.
will be back to a more pleasant, less nails on a chalkboard vibe.
Yeah.
So, catch y'all later.